moving to a new community or evaluating a new community, it's helpful to have a local person here who can really kind of short circuit the pitfalls that you might have on where to start, who to talk to. I say we're kind of a jack of all trades depending on what the project needs. We've got some that walk in the door, they've got a site identified, and they want to know, what do we need to do to get a building permit? We've got others that come in and they've got a business and they don't know the first thing about the community and where they should look, what's important, and just some, really behind the scenes information that can be communicated to help them have a better experience.
Welcome to Gone to Texas, the official podcast of the Texas Economic Development Connection. On every episode, we share the stories of business owners and CEOs who have relocated or expanded their business into Texas. Our goal is to use these stories as a guide to help others who are ready to hang a sign on the door that says, Gone to Texas. And now, please welcome your host, the Managing Partner and Chief Inspiration Officer for Day One Experts, Super Dave Quinn.
Howdy friends, welcome to another edition of Gone to Texas. I'm your host, Super Dave Quinn. Today I'm down in Boerne, Texas, which is in the Alamo region of Texas, sitting down with the lovely and talented Amy Story, who runs the Boerne Kendall County Economic Development Corporation, right?
Correct.
All right.
It's a lot of words.
So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're on the heels of your annual meeting, which was a fabulous event. Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Glad to have you as our speaker.
Well, it's always fun to get together and talk about what you've done over the last year and then kind of set the vision for the next. And y'all have done a great job for that. It's kind of a little bit different show than we normally do. We want to talk about entrepreneurism. Y'all have one of the great models of how to engage the entrepreneur community in Boerne. And so I wanted to bring you on, have a conversation about that. So, but first, let's tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what your role is here at the Economic Development Corporation and how long you've been here.
Yes, absolutely. I have been with the BKC EDC, lots of letters for almost 7 years now. I have a background in finance and marketing and a law degree from the University of Texas. Hook and horns, and have been doing economic development here in Kendall County, and love this community, and moved here by choice about 15 years ago. So we've seen some changes just in that period of time, but love what I do and love bringing businesses here and helping existing ones stay and grow. And that's a little bit about me.
So for the audience, when you say Boerne, what part of Texas is that in? Give them a little frame of reference about where we are in the state. And
You bet. Boerne, Texas is located in the beautiful Texas Hill Country, the most beautiful part of the state of Texas. We are just north of San Antonio, conveniently located off of I-10. We're about a 10 to 15 minute drive into San Antonio, so we're strategically located near San Antonio. We're about an hour and 15 from Austin. So very close to two major metro areas in the state, and really provide kind of the best of all worlds with proximity to two major metro areas and all that those bring, but also feeling like you're out of it and you're out in the country, you're out in nature. It's a beautiful part of the state with a lot of outdoor recreation, and really has that small town charm, almost a Mayberry feel.
Right.
And it's a challenge. We want to keep that. It's a very unique community with a rich German heritage. A lot of people, original settlers, families still here. But the secret's out, and folks are coming, and it has a lot to offer. And so we welcome those people here and want to show the opportunities that we can provide in Boerne.
Well, it's people don't realize. I was interviewing another gentleman who's German also, and has relocated his company here. We match up really well with Germany. There's the companies and the business owners. I think they're surprised when they come to Texas. It feels like home to them. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily understand why, but obviously we have a deep heritage there that kind of makes it really good.
It's yes, the German settlers that came here. I mean, they are very all business, no nonsense.
Very German-like.
Very German-like, yes. In a good way.
It's a great way. I have that heritage. I get it. Yeah. That's funny. Well, so we are talking about entrepreneurism. Obviously, our target audience is that small business owner, small to mid-sized business owner who has started his own business or founded a business or runs a business and is looking to expand or locate in Texas. One of the things we've found is that they don't really understand economic development and your role. Can you kind of explain to the audience, why is it important that they get to know an economic developer?
Sure. And I will say, our community, I guess I should mention, the city of Boerne is around 20,000 people. Kendall County is around 50,000 people. So that kind of gives you an idea of our size.
Yeah, that's nice. Good.
94% of our businesses here have fewer than 20 employees. Awesome. So at our heart, we are a small business community.
You understand it.
We do. We see it day in and day out. There are some larger businesses here, but our sweet spot really is these small to mid-sized companies and providing a home for them here. We've got the workforce to meet that. We've got the inventory of buildings that would be needed, land that's available. So we've really positioned ourselves as seeking businesses that are small to medium sized. And, moving to a new community or evaluating a new community, it's helpful to have a local person here who can really kind of short circuit the pitfalls that you might have on where to start, who to talk to. I say we're kind of a jack of all trades depending on what the project needs. We've got some that walk in the door, they've got a site identified and they want to know, what do we need to do to get a building permit? We've got others that come in and they've got a business and they don't know the first thing about the community and where they should look, what's important and just some, really behind the scenes information that can be communicated to help them have a better experience. And that's ultimately my goal, is for every company that we deal with to have a positive experience and feel like they are valued here in our business community. That's one of the things I love about a smaller town is, a small to mid-sized company may not be a big deal in a major metro area, but you are here. Right. And so we strive to provide that personal attention and forge those relationships so that they're successful in their transition.
I think that as I'm speaking to my business owners that, the leads when they call in, they're just not familiar with that. They're not used to having a community or a city that really does that for you. It's almost they're at odds with their cities and hence why they're coming to Texas. But Texas is so overwhelming. I mean, there's so many different places and every place is different. Yes. And unique and special in its own way, not good or bad or whatever, but there's a place for everybody. And I think the important, when you're talking to an economic developer such as you just have a sense like that business model won't work here. Absolutely. Or and so we don't want people to come in and be in the wrong place or waste a lot of time and effort when if they'd have made a small shift, after listening to you, then it would be a much better thing. And
I'm very honest with businesses when they come in the door because it doesn't do anyone any good to just make them think that what they want to do is going to work perfectly here. I mean, they need to be aware of what potential challenges could be and maybe a small tweak that would make it a much easier path to get here. Right. So,
and sometimes it's just the words they use. You're like, you can't use that word. What you're doing is fine, but if you say it like that, you're going to get crushed, right?
Exactly. If only it were just a word or two, that would make things a lot easier.
Sometimes that's right.
No, I'm not.
You just ask the wrong way, and you're like that. It takes people on a whole different course, and you're like, I needed your mindset this way.
Well, our goal is, making those connections with the businesses that are considering our community, and then making sure that we remain there for them to make sure that they succeed here, and they've got the tools and resources and the connections that they need in order to succeed in this location.
Howdy, friend. Are you looking to elevate your business with a move to Texas? Join the thriving business community in Boerne Kendall County, where successful businesses are flourishing in one of the nation's fastest growing counties. With the unmatched support of the Boerne Kendall County EDC and their vibrant community spirit, your Texas business dreams can become a reality. Discover the Boerne Kendall County difference today and let them help you grow your business in the heart of Texas. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that today at the event, and you were talking about the importance of the business owners engaging into the system to find the value. The value really isn't, I mean, if you just join, that's better than nothing, but unless you're engaging and really getting to know the people around you,
that's right.
You don't have to do this by yourself.
That's right. I mean, you can benefit from the many people that have done it before you, And this community, I mean, at 50,000 in the county, it still has a very small town feel. And as businesses come in here, it's important to make those connections, and it's really beneficial to their business to know those people. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to come up with a resource that I couldn't connect them to locally.
Right.
So, I think that's.
Well, I talk a lot about, not all the time, but sometimes they ask about incentives because they've seen on the news, Elon Musk gets an incentive or something. And I'll let them know, I mean, you might get an incentive. The value that you really want to get from that isn't the incentive. Might be a little bit, but that's going to last like 2 seconds. Right. It'll be there and gone. It's the relationships that you develop and the connections that you can make by engaging with economic development. That's where the true value is.
Absolutely. And, every project that walks through our doors, we encourage them to do that pre-development meeting. Sit down, whether it's the city or the county. Let's talk it through. They may have things that neither of us could have thought of that we need to make sure we're addressing ahead of time. And again, it's all about making the process as smooth and predictable and timely as possible.
Right.
So,
as a small business owner, I mean, time is money, right? So you've got capital out and you start to you think about the process of uprooting a business from one place to another. That's already complicated.
Yes.
And so anything you can do to help shorten the cycle when you get to where you're going.
Yes.
It's kind of like putting fertilizer in, with the plant, right? You want to give it the best chance for success. And working with someone like you at the EDC, being able to know, hey, I need to do a pre-development meeting. I didn't even know what that is. What is that? Tell me about that. And walking them through that process, that's something you guys do.
It is. And, not every company that comes here is aware that our organization exists. A lot of people have heard of the chamber, and that's an understandable thing. But the fact that we do have a local EDC, that our sole purpose is to help guide these companies on the path to having their business here. It's something that we hope to communicate more and more, that folks will stop by and tell us what they're thinking, and we engage and help them the best way that we can. So
what are some of the things, if you're talking to business owners, types of businesses that you think are seeing that fit well with your community? I mean, obviously that's a big thing, right? Some either from a staffing standpoint or a resource standpoint, what are some of those kind of ideal companies that would be really well here? Well,
and when we did a strategic plan, we're in our 4th year of it, we really looked at, we're a small town, we're a limited economic development budget, we cannot be all things to all people. What do we really want to see here? And that was a question that we asked our stakeholders, what do you want to be in 5, 10, 20 years, and how do we get there? And we were fortunate to be able to work with the University of Texas on this plan, and they had access to a lot of research that we wouldn't have had on our own. But they really sort of pinpointed 5 target industry categories for us. What we're looking for, and given the workforce that we have and some of the assets and challenges that we have as a community, we want to be realistic in what we're seeking to attract. So you're going to put me on the spot to list all 5 of these. Design, build, and professional services is one. Light manufacturing, light advanced manufacturing, agri-tech. We're a rural community still. And we've seen some of that already kind of come our way.
That's a growing field, yeah.
It is, and it's an exciting field, and it kind of marries
it fits
the future and the heritage.
Guys.
It is on brand. That's a great way to describe it. What am I forgetting? Biosciences, and then my favorite, breweries, wineries, and distilleries.
That's a good one.
It's a neat niche that has kind of developed, and we've tried to nurture it along. But
kind of goes with the German heritage too, right?
It does. Get a nice stein of beer in Boerne. Boerne is for beer is a slogan that was coined by one of the local breweries, which
that's awesome.
Maybe not the most creative, but it's direct. So
hey, my marketing guy says clear and direct's better than clever any day. So
there you go.
He always has to remind me of that because I'm always trying to be clever, and he's like, dude, just be clear.
Well, where we're located, the workforce pool that we have is much larger than our actual community size. And so, workforce challenges exist for everyone. I get it. But I do feel like we're in a good position to be able to draw from a wide range of employable people. So,
you've really got people all different skill sets, right? From the entry-level worker all the way up to the guys that are doing programming and designing for tech and biosciences. You really have a good top to bottom workforce.
Well, and one of the things that we seek to do is bring more primary jobs here. I mean, Boerne's a unique community with its proximity to San Antonio. A lot of executives live here and then work in San Antonio. A lot of service type workers will come into Boerne for employment, but our goal really is to attract companies that will bring those primary jobs where people can both live and work in Boerne. It's a great community. People move here by choice. I mean, I really can say that. Not that many people have to move to Boerne, Texas for a job, but they can move to Boerne, Texas because they want to and have a job. So it's a community of choice for a lot of people.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So talk us a little bit about your entrepreneurial ecosystem here.
Sure.
Because that's one of the challenges that a lot of small towns run into is kind of pulling those resources and having an ecosystem at all. And you guys seem to have found a niche for that.
It's been a huge initiative of ours, and it goes back to our strategic plan. And it was the first goal that came out of it. It was grow your own. We're facing rapid growth like a lot of areas in the state, and for an understandable reason. I mean, it's a wonderful place to live, strong schools, great location, beautiful part of the state. We had to really look internally and say, well, everybody says they want entrepreneurs. What are we actually doing to provide something or a reason for them to come?
Right.
And so kind of the first step of that was the creation of an angel network, and that launched in 2020. So
money's always a good place to start.
There's access to capital. Access to capital, and it's funny, if you build it, they will come, and that is true. It's a great problem to have, and we've got monthly pitch events of companies of all types that come out and pitch to a group of very savvy local investors that want to see great things develop here. So that was kind of the first stage. And the second one was, okay, great. So there's access to capital. Where are they going to do this? How do you get started? And we really spent a lot of time benchmarking with other communities about what could we offer. So long story short, we launched an entity called Das GreenHaus, a little nod to our German heritage. And it's a space where you can have very affordable office space or just co-working space if that's necessary. Mentorship is another component of it. We've got extremely talented mentors in this area. I mean, I'm constantly amazed at the low-key people that move out here that have had these unbelievable careers and are willing to spend the time
That's amazing.
With young founders and not so young founders that are looking for their next venture. And then we've got a programming course. We spent a lot of time and money developing this programming course that was modeled after what they had done at Startup Waco.
Okay.
The developer of that software program lives here in our community.
Oh, wow.
So we worked with him to create this course that companies can go through, and it really identifies gaps and opportunities for them.
That's amazing.
As they look to bring their business to the next level. But and the EDC will be here to support them. We want to make sure that we've got those local connections and that we give them every reason once they are done with the resources at Das GreenHaus that they come and stay and put down their permanent roots here. Right. So it's a strategy that we think will allow us to manage the growth while also nurturing those kinds of businesses that we want to see here in the long term.
Right. And it keeps the folks that moved here engaged, right?
Yes.
Like you're leveraging the talent. They didn't just move here, retire, and then that knowledge just goes to waste. You're able to source it to help kind of build the next generation of entrepreneurs and business owners. Yes.
And it's been very heartening to see how many people are willing to give of their time because they're interested. I mean, maybe they're done with their professional career, but they've got a lot of knowledge to give. And it's been great to see those folks really pour into the entrepreneurs that are considering Kendall County.
Right. Well, as we start to wrap up here, one, it's a really easy drive from the airport because I flew in this morning and drove over, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm here already?
It's very easy.
I was settled in I was going to listen to my next podcast. I'm like, I'm here already. So the really great location in the Alamo region and to the airport. Any last words to the business owner or the business community when they're sort of looking at this area? What are some of the thoughts that they need to be thinking about when they come in? What are some of the questions they need to, that they should be thinking about when they talk to you?
Mm-hmm. Again, I'd say our community really provides the best of all worlds. I mean, if you want that feeling of small town charm, community where everyone knows everyone, and you've got, the homecoming parade down Main Street, you want that type of lifestyle, you can do that here, but then you can be at the San Antonio airport in 35 minutes. You can be in Austin, a little over twice that time. But it's a unique and special community. And kind of post-COVID, as we saw a lot of folks evaluating where they're doing business, where do they live, where do their employees live, we've seen a lot of folks inquire about Boerne because they realize, their job can be done from other places.
Yeah.
And so it's been neat to see the types of businesses that are looking for other locations, and Boerne has gotten on their radar. So
right.
If someone's considering Kendall County for their business, I would encourage them, reach out to us at the EDC. We're here to help you and make your path as smooth as possible. So no question is too big or too small. We're here to help.
And as always, it's a free resource.
100% free.
Isn't that crazy? My business owners, I have to talk them into it. They're like, okay, well, what's the catch? Like, at what point do I really pay? And I'm like, no, really, they want to be your friend. They will want
Absolutely.
to help you.
And we might give you like a notepad or
you might
some
get
pens
something.
or
Right.
It just depends on when you come.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for
Thank you.
letting me come in today. It's been a phenomenal day. As always, appreciate spending time down here. You guys are you have a remarkable program. You're very innovative, and you work tirelessly. It's obvious that you love your community, and that shows through. So thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us another episode here for Gone to Texas. I'm your host, Super Dave Quinn, and obviously we want you to like, share, and give us 5 stars on the review there so that more people get to hear our show. We know there's lots of businesses out there that are frustrated with their current economic circumstances. Maybe they're not feeling that the government really isn't the environment that they want to be in anymore. And so they're looking to Texas or looking for opportunities, and we would love to help you relocate or expand your business here in Texas. We have free resources available to you. We'll connect you with people like Amy's story who will really want to help you make your business a success here in Texas. They authentically, that's all they want. They want to help you make business success here in Texas. And so we thank you for joining us today. And until next time, make it a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Gone to Texas, the official podcast of the Texas Economic Development Connection, powered by Day One Experts, a collection of the country's best-known economic development professionals offering on-demand services to communities across the nation.